Hi, my name is Logan Flynn, and today I'm going to be doing an informative speech on William Pitsenberger, who was a pararescueman or PJ in the United States Air Force, and how he received the Medal of Honor, among other things in his career. A truly extraordinary man that lived by a credo that the pararescuemen literally, singularly, live by, even over other service members. So think about the Army, think about the Air Force, think about the Marines, you think about Coast Guard and what they live by. And the pararescuemen inside the United States Air Force live by the credo that others may live. So whatever they do, it's so that somebody else lives, not necessarily themselves. If it takes their life to do it, it takes their life. And I think just knowing that about the job will kind of put William Pitsenberger in that category, and you'll see how it fits. On April 11th, 1966, he was in the 38th Aerospace Rescue and Recovery Squadron out of Ben Hoa, Vietnam, and was called to support a medevac mission in an HH-43. That's pretty much what they did. They did medevacs. Anybody that needed to get out of somewhere harm's way, or they were already hurt, that's what their job was there to do. And I want to show you an awesome picture of the HH-43. And what's important to note about this as you're looking at this, notice how it does look similar to every helicopter you've ever seen in your life. The tail is slightly different, and the blades up at the top are actually a lot longer than your traditional helicopter, and there's a reason for that. The reason for those long blades were so that helicopter could actually touch down on the ground and take back off in a very short amount of time. Especially if somebody's shooting at you, you don't want to have to sit there and have to run through 30 checklists to try to get back off the ground. So it was a touch-go situation. It was also one of those things where having such a long blade allowed them to hover in a very stable platform, so that you could lower a basket out of that, much like you saw, people have seen with the Coast Guard, where they actually lower the basket into the water. They say somebody bring them up. It's the same type of situation here, but this one's over land. So all different terrains, things like that. So this helicopter was very apt to be able to handle most situations. A little bit of background about Pitsenberger. He had been on 300 rescue missions, which is more than some of the 30-year vet guys that have been in. So when you say that this guy is an airman first class, which means he's probably within his first 4 years of his career, and he's already done more than 30-year guys have done. That's what Vietnam will do to you as well, especially at a time of war. So back to William. He was just 21 years old, attached Detachment 6 in the 38th Aerospace Rescue and Recovery, and he was called out because there was a person who was on a minefield that was actually burning at the time. So he's sitting there in the aircraft looking down at a man who's Viet Cong, by the way, in a burning minefield. So fire can set off a mine, you stepping on a mine can set it off, shooting a mine. And the pilot was actually really worried that if his blades produced enough thrust, that his blades would actually force enough air down to the ground where he'd actually blow it up. And Pitsenberger said, I don't care. So I'm going to give my life to make sure that this person lives, and I don't care how bad the situation is. And the pilot finally talked the pilot into lowering closer to the ground, where he was able to lower the canopy just enough to where he could actually reach out and grab the guy by the hand and pull him inside of that aircraft. He was awarded the Airman's Medal, and you can check that out at nationalmuseum.af.mil if you want to look at that up. So on to his final mission. He was called out um, for a rescue and recovery, which was once again very normal for um, his job. And the situation was they were under fire by several hundred Viet Cong, and you're looking at about uh, 70 or 80 people that are trying to fight back, severely outnumbered. And another issue was they were trying to just lower the canopy below the canopy of the treetops. So you got to think you got to be in that perfect place to be able to hover that aircraft and send it down. And the people on the ground could not figure out how to actually work the cage. And so Pitzenberger said, "I'm going down, I'm going down, I'm going down." And the pilot said, "You're not going down in that. I'm not going to put you in harm's way." And he said, "If you don't, they will all die. And this will be a recovery mission instead of a rescue mission." Well, you can check that out at virtualwall.org. So you got this anyway of circumstances. You got trees that are 100 feet tall. You've got a basket that won't reach that far. You got people on the ground that can't work the basket. And the pilot said, "I can't. You're right. If we don't do this, something even worse is going to happen." So Pitzenberger goes down and he starts saving people, just like his job was there to do. However, not only did he do his job, but people were running out of ammo. So what he would do is there would be a deceased person on the ground. He would grab their ammo, go take that to somebody who was an able-bodied person, hand that off to them, and then go help somebody else, put them in the basket, send them up, and let the aircraft take back off. So after countless people that he's done this for, and there was 4 baskets, the aircraft that he was actually attached to was under fire. And so it actually took a round and it knocked the basket down to the ground. So there's no way for the people on the ground to get out. Instead of freaking out like most people would do and say that's our only way home, he went around and grabbed every gun that he could find, found all the ammo, gave it to every able-bodied person on the ground. People with one arm, he would make sure that they got a pistol to shoot instead of your regular M16 firearm. When I think about this, I think about what would you do if you saw this, and I look for a quote that they used to tell us in basic training about facing your fears. And one of the things that they were talking about was one of the person on the ground was in World War II. Had been World War II and also Vietnam. He said it was more intense than any firefight he had ever seen in his life. And all he could see was Pitzenberger running back and forth with a med pack, trying to help every single person that he could, as well as returning fire, as well as giving people the ammo to get fire, and saved X amount of lives, He ended up passing away. A sniper ended up taking him out about 7:30 that night. So you're looking at a timeline of about 4 hours where he literally saved countless lives on the ground, was able to repel forces that literally overwhelmed our forces. And he died with a rifle and a med pack in his hand. So up until that last very second that he was doing what his creed said, and that was that others may live. Now, what's surprising to me over all of this was he was initially awarded the second highest award that there is, and that's the Air Force Cross, which is nothing to look down upon. But years and years go by, and you kind of rehack that story, and you listen to all the accounts of the people's lives that were saved. The pilot that was there was able to save an aircraft and say, I couldn't, I had to go back the next day and retrieve Pitzenberger, and how tough it was. And in December 2000, his parents were he was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. And I think it's the absolute right thing to do. I think when you look at this story as a whole, and you look at one situation, yeah, that's one thing. When we look at a guy who's done this 300 times, saved a guy from a burning minefield, to put him down in a canopy 100 feet down with gunfire everywhere, just seems like that was just a part of his job. So thank you, William Pitzenberger, for showing me, for showing the world really what heroism really is, and that's knowing exactly what fear is, looking it in the face, and overcoming it. Thank you.